Today is going to be a big day. The opposition is gearing up for the no-confidence motion, which is likely to be tabled when the Sri Lankan parliament convenes today. Representatives from the Sri Lanka Porujana Peramuna and the group of ruling party MPs who recently became independent met with the president to discuss the formation of an interim government. During the discussion, the SLPP conceptually agreed to the concept of a national consensus government. But as main opposition party leader Sajith Premadasa has refused to enter into any agreement with the Rajapaksa government, realization of the proposal for a national government looks uncertain. While the SLFP and breakaway members of the parliament are preparing for a national government, Mahinda Rajapaksa has maintained stoic silence on this issue. The fate of Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa hangs in the balance. Parliamentarian Basil Rajapaksa reportedly commented during a meeting held with independent parliamentarians where he said that Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa may decide to step down from his position. The stepping down may come in consideration of the request made by the chief prelates of the three chapters. However, if this happens and the party leaders committee calls for nominations for the position of Prime Minister, SLPP will not nominate anyone else except for Mahinda Rajapaksa. Another crucial test for the government and opposition looms when Parliament meets. Electing a new deputy speaker will also be on the agenda. Sri Lanka Freedom Party's Ranjit Siyambala Prithia has said that he will no longer function as the deputy speaker after the 30th of April. Now, Siyambala Prithia submitted his resignation to President Gotabaya Rajapaksa soon after the SLFP members quit the government. Rajapaksa, however, refused to accept the resignation and urged the deputy speaker to continue his role. He subsequently told Parliament that he would stay in this position until the end of April. The House can elect a new deputy speaker unanimously. In the event that two names are proposed, the deputy speaker will then be elected via a secret ballot. Both the government and the opposition are planning to propose names for the post. Meanwhile, as the political crisis looms, protests against the government continue in Colombo. A large group of Buddhist monks marched against the government and gathered at the Gall-Face protest site. We're now being joined by WION correspondent Dasuni Athoda from Colombo for more on this. Dasuni, thank you for joining us. The opposition is set to table a no-confidence motion. This is opposition against the Rajapaksa government grows. We know that protests too have continued for weeks now. What can you tell us about this?
Well, good morning, Hem. Certainly today will be a very crucial day for the future course of action here in Sri Lankan politics, to be very specific. And today's parliament session will be the first for the month of May. And we are really looking at two things that might take center stage today. The first, obviously, being the appointing of the deputy speaker to see which party will be coming up with their nominations. And given that there is more than one candidate, how the secret ballot will pan out. This will most likely happen towards the morning hours here when Parliament convenes in a matter of minutes here in Sri Lanka. And the other thing is to see how best the no-confidence motions, which were handed over to the Speaker yesterday by the main opposition party, the Samagi Janabala Vegia, will pan out. Now, we do know there are two no-confidence motions, one against the present government and one against the president, to see which one will be put forward first and whether the opposition can garner enough votes for this to be voted and secured is also interesting. We also need to know, according to parliamentary procedure, when you do put forward a no-confidence motion, it has to also be debated in Parliament. So the date for debates for this are also yet to be announced, and we are really anticipating several key developments throughout the day.
Absolutely. Now, in fact, Dasuni, I was going to come to that. Just for more clarity on this, we know that a future national government looks uncertain at this point, considering that they will also be electing a new deputy speaker. Now, on this, what can we expect? Is there any clarity on how this is going to move forward?
Well, as I mentioned before, the current situation in Sri Lanka is truly a first of its kind, where neither the opposition nor the government appears to have a solid majority right now. So what we can really wait for, and what we can really wait for it to be certain, would be the show of votes when it comes to the no-confidence motion. So all eyes will be on this specific no-confidence motion and how it will pan out to really see whether the opposition has now garnered more power than the majority of the government. To really see the numbers, we will have to wait for a vote.
All right. Dasuni, thank you so much for bringing us all the updates on this. We will, of course, continue to track this very closely through the day. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.